The Robbins Hall Seventh-day Adventist Church has shaped the lives of many individuals. This is a place where we made lifelong friends, find mentors and prayer partners, or even new families. This church is filled with God, and God is love. Today, we will listen to some of the testimonies from our brothers and sisters.
Robbins Hall Seventh-day Adventist Church. Oh, how that name brings back memories, precious memories. As I greet you today, I just want to thank you first before I express anything relative to what my life has become. And let me just say very clearly, without any shadow of a doubt, it is the Robbins Hall Seventh-day Adventist Church that made me anything that I can claim spiritually in this world today. I can remember from the very early days as a little boy. I remember when Brother Huss came and pulled me out of that garage when I was playing marbles. And from that day, I've never missed a day, a Sabbath worship experience at Robbins Hall. I remember the many moments that I spent as a little boy growing up there with my mom singing on the choir, me and Risden sitting there and giving problems in the pews, to the moments when people like Sister B and Sister Joyce and all the other ladies, Miss Cherry, Sister Blanche, all of them would do everything they possibly could to keep me quiet and be respectful. The best kept secret, and I'll share it right now, what I credit to the moment that I became a boy to a man was the potato pudding. Sister Joyce and Sister B used to promise me. And as a result, I would behave myself. And I've learned from that experience how important it is to cradle a child with love. And so I credit Robbins Hall. You know, Sister Mervis, as you know, was very pivotal, the Huss family, in my life. I still today, everywhere I go and I make a presentation, I talk about how Brother Huss taught me everything I know about the Bible. And so as a young man getting baptized at age 6, when I had to be lifted in the pool and be baptized because I was so short and tiny, I remember those moments. The time spent with guys like Sean and with all the young ladies in the church like Melissa and Glenna and all the other ladies inside the church, I will never forget. But there's one thing I'm going to say right now which is very important. The small things you do, they last a lifetime. Rose Johnson took me on my very first beach trip, which I'll never, ever forget. And so as I leave today, I want to encourage you in Robbins Hall as you celebrate the faith in this journey. Just remember the small speck that you may be can cause a lot of swivels around the world. Just do the least that you can, and it will be a blessing to many. I am so glad that I'm a proud product of Robbins Hall Seventh-day Adventist Church. Thank you for all that you've done. May God bless you.
Hi everyone, my name is Junior Bennett and I'm here to share with you some important experiences that I had at the Robbins Hall Seventh-day Adventist Church. That's a church that I gave my heart to the Lord, and that decision has been the most important decision that I have ever made. There are many persons that stood out for me that have supported me in terms of making that spiritual decision, and one of such persons was my aunt, who I was staying with at the time, and she made a decision that she was going to go to church, return to church, and her children, my cousins, and get active and so on. At the time, it was very important, and I believe the Lord worked in a mysterious way, and it's something I start to learn. Anywhere that I go, changes start to happen, and sometimes those changes make people uncomfortable. And I think one of the changes that started to happen, I have nothing to do with it, but God's so happy that when I decided that I'm going to be staying with her, there were many things that were happening in my life, but the Lord would have led to me making this decision. And when I made that decision, it was really God leading me to a wilderness experience. And that wilderness experience was to teach me a lot of lessons. And there are many lessons I could talk about. But that wilderness experience included being at the Robbins Hall Seventh-day Adventist Church, where I started to learn about, in a more deep and meaningful way, the value of the scriptures. And that is what I would say is the greatest legacy for me from the Robbins Hall Seventh-day Adventist Church. I learned the value of scriptures. I've learned to trust God and to depend upon Him. I've learned the value of praying and how important it is that whatever challenges that you're faced with, you can just know that there's a God who hears and understands you. There's a couple at the church that played a very important role in my life, and I'm speaking of Brother Niv and Sister B. This couple has been like the most influential person across many phases of my life. And I thank God for their lives. Brother Niv, he passed and away in the second coming of the Lord, but his wife still lives. Sister B, Sister Beatrice Williams, Elder Williams, would have served the church with distinction, and during my time, she served as an elder. And I remember the days when I would go at her house and Brother Niv, and we would, have lunch and have pudding and have talks about life and so on. And it was a great experience. I also remember preparing for AY programs. I remember Jermaine Hall. I remember Stephanie Young. And I also remember Sean, Simpson. And there's a lot of people that were there that were very involved, the Youngs, the Halls, During that time as a youth, I needed, that kind of environment where, there's somebody who has the right values, and we're not just speaking, but living and demonstrating what practical Christianity was about. And I believe that Brother Niv and Sister B and her family were that stable family that represented the Lord, and they stand out in my experience. Just going to the church and spending time with them and at their house was something I believe that the Lord ordained, that I could learn what it is to be a husband, what is required of me, how should I care for my family. How I saw Brother Niv, epitomizes, how he demonstrated those values of, standing and supporting your family, working very hard. And then Sister B as well, how she worked together. There was no contention. I have never during my time, heard them quarreling or going on in any way. They were always respectful of each other. And that is a value that I have embraced from my own relationship. It's a journey. And I have seen that love that was demonstrated between a husband and a wife. And it is evident to me that God values everyone, whether you're single or you're married or you're divorced or whatever your marital status, wherever you're in life. But what stood out for me basically was that it is important that husband and wife work together, and cooperate and support each other. You know, Sister B was very outspoken. She was a strong and powerful woman of God. Brother Niv was more of an introvert, a strong and powerful man of God who demonstrated through his action, you know, he was a person of action, you know. And although they had different personalities in my analysis, I have seen where it, you know, they complemented each other and they supported each other in their journey. And that for me was an example that was missing in a lot of my interaction with many people. And I have seen that example in Sister B and Brother Niv.
My name is Tyler McIntyre. My experience here at the Robbins Hall Church. I came here at the age of 2 years old to Robbins Hall, lived with the Burtons, still living with them, and there were some folks who I came here and met, those who passed and those who are still here. People like Elder Rose, Sister Beatrice Williams, Elder Leslie Orr, Elder Foster, Brother Hall, Sister Hall, and the list goes on. These folks were very influential. I remember Brother Orr teaching me, telling me that ministry, it begins not only behind the pulpit, but visitation was very important, and that's how I learned that visitation was important, because we went out in the field doing Bible work, doing visitations and a lot of stuff. And so Brother Rose, I remember Brother Rose teaching me the first time I wore a tie. Brother Rose taught me how to tie that tie. I remember Brother Rose vividly because of the prayers that he used to pray, the long prayers, the sermons, very long as well. He was a man of God, very stern, very respectful, and may I add, he's one of the few that I respect here in the Robbins Hall Church, because he's always there to encourage and to tell us when we are wrong, and that's Brother Rose for us.
Elder Victor Rose is faithfully serving as an elder in our church, as he has for many years, playing a vital role in its growth and spiritual development. His dedication is evident in his unwavering presence, even when facing illness or personal challenges. His passion for ministry goes beyond duties. He invests time and care into helping others deepen their faith and walk with God. His wisdom, humility, and compassion have made him a trusted guide and example to many. Through his service, he demonstrates true servant leadership, inspiring others to remain steadfast in their commitment to God and the work of the church.
My name is Lisha Bennett. I am from Robbins Hall, or far enough. My experience of Robbins Hall has been one of fun, excitement, challenges as well. Yes, I have grown since coming to Robbins Hall this year. It has been a wonderful journey. Yes.
Do you remember your first time attending?
Well, I know that it was me and Abigail, of course. Abigail was about 6 thereabout. Right. I remember what stood out to me in my memory is the welcoming. I felt very welcome. I felt at home. I remember Sister B was there, no pass, and she was like, "What's your name?" And And she said, oh, you're Bennett. And she started telling me about herself. And she was like, which church you used to go, and so forth and so forth. And then it was wonderful. Looking back to the first time, I remember Sister Cherry and Bash. Yes, man, those persons were very, Sister Blanche, yes, those persons made me feel welcome. Sister Carmen, I remember when we came to church, we would go home back. And I remember Sister Carmen said that, you know, you don't have to go home, you know, you can come and have lunch at my home. And I was like, whoa. And from that on, day on, we start going to lunch at Sister Carmen. I remember Brother Houghton and Tisha. Yes, I remember them. I remember Brother Orr as well was one of those persons who stood out to me as well, because he was always laughing, always jovial. It has been a wonderful time. Yes, I remember the first time I actually did Bible working. Me and Brother Orr was teammate. We had a series at Robbins Hall, and me and Brother Orr worked from the church go up to Bilby. Yeah, it was teaching. I felt like I was in training. Yes, it was wonderful working with Brother Orr, and everybody in the community knows Brother Orr. Nobody has a bad thing to say about him. I tell you, he knows from the baby to the oldest. Everybody knows Brother Orr. And Brother Orr and I've worked with Brother Orr outside of Robbins Hall, being a Bible worker. At times we end up at the same campaign, and it always felt good to know that you have somebody from home with you there. So working with Brother Orr has been a joy. It has been a joy, and I've learned a lot. Yes, ma'am.
If you were to say something that stands out the most about you, what would that be?
His tattoo. His tattoo one and his smile. You never see Brother Orr with a serious face. He's always smiling. Always smiling, man. That stood out to me. Yes, man. And I love when he's out, when he's preaching and you get burned. Yes, man, Brother Orr. Anytime Brother Orr goes up on the pulpit, you can look forward to know that, yes, you're going to learn something, you're going to be challenged, but you're going to get fun out of it as well. And you have something to go home with and ponder on to help you to grow and change. Yes, man.
And now, a message from one of our longest serving and current First Elder, Elder Vivette Foster.
Greetings, everybody. I am Vivette Foster, First Elder for the Robbins Hall SDA Church. Going to Robbins Hall Seventh-day Adventist Church was divinely appointed. Serving this church in the capacity of First Elder over these years has forced me to frequently intercede with God for both myself and the congregation I serve. The members here are warm, kind, loving, and a kingdom-driven people. I have witnessed the standard of the church lifted, and there's a yearning for spiritual reformation. Like any SDA congregation, we have had many challenges, but through them all, we have seen God's hands directing in the affairs of the lives of our members. Many have gone to sleep since I'm here, and now awaits the second return of our Lord. Serving this church has made me spiritually stronger and resilient, still depending on God's leading. Thanks to Sisters B, Huss, Burton, Brown, Paul, and Brothers Hall, Johnson, and Rose, who assured me they are praying for me. This means so much. I'm happy I have responded to the call to serve here in this part of God's vineyard. Keep faithful, my brothers and sisters. Maranatha.
I'm leaning on the everlasting arms of Jesus until the day he comes. Though I know it's not the good that I have done, I know through Jesus there's a victory to be won. If I don't make it, it's only me to be blamed, for I've been warned time and time again. I wanna make heaven my home. I don't wanna labor in vain. Heaven my home. Lord, help me to make it in, for no matter what it takes, I really wanna make heaven my home. I'm convinced that once I'm in his presence, I can't be harmed, for he is my defense. Though temptations often come my way, the hands of Jesus will guide me day by day. And though the way to life, it's a narrow path, I'll sacrifice until this world has passed. I wanna make heaven my home. I don't wanna labor in vain. Heaven my home. Lord, help me to make it in, for no matter what it takes, I really wanna make heaven my home. The Lord rewrote my life with grace and mercy. He sets me free.